as many as 2,000 ships conducting these surveillance activities while they pretend to be fishing or doing other kinds of research. And while
right, folks, the next video will be about international espionage. I just visited a place which is a real hotbed for spies and all type of intelligence activity. It's a great place to do this kind of research, and it's obviously it's a border town. So stay around. I'll tell you a little bit more about the history and what happens there today. We'll be traveling through Lapland to the northeast, and the place where we first go is called Kirkkoniemi, just close to the border of Russia and Kola Peninsula. In order to understand the present day situation here in the high north, and especially in the Kirkenes area and in the Norwegian side of the border, you need to go back in history to the Second World War.
Most friendly affair. Two days after Finland regrettably decided to throw in her lot with the Nazis in their fight against the Soviet, the Fleet Air Arm went north. The aircraft carriers Furious and Victorious took their planes to within striking distance of Finland's ice-free port of Petsamo, right on the Soviet frontier. There was a strong escort which carried out its part of anti-submarine practice on the way.
Norway was occupied by the Nazi German troops during the Second World War. And we all know that Germany was fighting a war against Soviet Union. What some people don't know is that Finland had a special treaty with Germany and was fighting its, in a way, a separate war against Soviet Union. Soviet Union had earlier attacked Finland in the Winter War 1939 and ceded vast areas of Finnish territory. And by the way, one of these areas is actually here up in the north. The Petsamo region used to be part of Finland. Norway had quite a different history. As said, it was occupied, and Norway had a special relationship with Russians up there in the north, because Norwegian partisans were actively fighting against the German occupation forces there, which, you know, they had loads of soldiers there, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. And as you can see here in the pictures, it was very heavily fortified coastal line there. The German objective for the war in the beginning was to take Murmansk, but they couldn't do it, and the war kind of stagnated into the partisans are the key for today's situation as well. So Soviet forces, when they came over across the border and sort of chased the Germans away from that area, they came as liberators. Many of the Norwegian partisans were ethnically also Finnish, and their background was communist. There were some people who had escaped from Finland after the Finnish Civil War, where the Red Guard lost, and they reside either in Soviet Union or in northern Norway. So there was this kind of a tradition of the leftist, pro-Soviet kind of atmosphere already. So it was fairly easy to recruit people from northern Norway to do the partisan attacks. And this, just to make a long story short, this means that even today there is a lot of people who come from these families, these so-called red families. They might even have Soviet or Russian relatives, and both sides of the border. And this makes the situation in Russia, in northern Norway, very, very different from Finland, where there's always been this kind of suspicion towards the Russians. Just to make this kind of clear before we go to the present day situation in the area. There are several reasons why this place is so important for the Russians today, and why the spy activity here in the regions is what it is. First of all, Russians have their most important military bases here in the Kola Peninsula. They have their nuclear submarine bases here. They have intercontinental nuclear capacity in the region, and very important thing is that this harbor, even though we're in the Arctic region, it's open seas all year round. Fishing industry is big in the region, and traditionally Norway and Russia have had very good relationships and a lot of cooperation when it comes to fishing. The Russians and the Norwegians have agreements about maintenance of their fishing vessels and using Norwegian ports for some activities from the Russian side. And those treaties come all the way from the Soviet era. Now the problem is that the Norwegians know for a fact that some of the Russian fishing vessels are used for espionage. Okay, let's talk a few words about Globus, the huge radar station that sits on the island of Vardö, Vuores. And that is one of the most important intelligence gathering equipment or technical equipment that NATO has close to the Russian border.
Globus is a radar system in the town of Vardø, in Vardø Municipality, Finnmark County, Norway. It is operated by the Norwegian Intelligence Service, NIS, and its official uses are primarily space observation and Arctic airspace monitoring for Norway's national interest, though the site's close proximity to known Russian naval bases, as well as U.S. involvement in construction and funding, have fueled suspicions that it also serves as part of an American missile defense system. In March 2017, 9 Russian bombers took off from Russia's nearby Kola Peninsula and executed a mock air strike against the radar station, flying in attack formation and turning back just before breaching Norwegian airspace. 14. Then in February of the following year, a very similar mock strike was carried out by 11 Russian fighter jets. 15. Regarding the Globus system, Russian spokesperson Maria Zakharova stated in 2019, "There's every reason to believe that the radar will monitor precisely the territory of the Russian Federation and will become part of the U.S. missile defense system," and added, "It seems obvious to me that military preparations near Russian or any other borders cannot be ignored by our or other countries. We presume that we will take response measures to ensure our own security." 15. When shortly after these statements, Russia deployed a ball missile system to the Sredny Peninsula, just 70 kilometers, 43 miles from Vardø.
All right, there you have it, people. Getting a little bit help from my artificial intelligence friends, but the video here that you see, I've filmed it myself, and the time here is midnight, just a couple of weeks ago when I was in Vardø camping overnight there. So it's a beautiful midnight sun. The last pictures you see are from a beautiful fishing village called Bukeja. It's an old ethnically Kven Finnish fishing village, and it was one of the nicest places I visited there, and the nature obviously is absolutely beautiful around the Varangian fjord. But I just want to tell you about one thing that I spotted when I was over there. As some of you might know, Finland closed its borders about 2 years ago because of the Russian hybrid operations. So they were pushing illegal migrants through Finnish borders, and our government wisely decided to close all its borders. So the border up here in the north, the Norwegian-Russian border, is open. And when I was in Kirkenes, I spotted something quite disturbing. I spotted several groups of young military-aged African men sitting in quite a big groups, and that kind of looked a bit out of place. They were not fishermen. They were obviously not working. It was a work day in the middle of the day. They were just sitting, and you can easily tell that they're not locals. So I was kind of thinking, since the border is open there, the migrants still using that route to come to the Nordic countries, because the Finnish and the Norwegian border is totally open. You can basically walk through it. There is very seldom anybody on those border posts. Just crossed my mind, is the hybrid operation still going on, or what is this? Just an observation. I don't want to make the video too long. I had some more material, quite interesting ones, but maybe I'll make another video about it. But if you like the video, please click the like button, and I might even make another video about the same subject with some new material. Anyways, take care wherever you are, and cheers.